Sicuramente l'episodio di oggi era quello che aspettavo più di tutti. Diciamo che il gioco creato da questi due autori che siamo andati ad intervistare hanno influenzato pesantemente e hanno modificato in modo particolare il mio modo di intendere il gioco. Non voglio soffermarmi sul fatto di che tipo di gioco sia Morkborg. Sinceramente non mi interessa, secondo me non è il focus. Chi mi ascolta sin dall'inizio sa che è uno dei primi giochi di cui ho parlato, per cui riuscire ad intervistare Johan Nohr e Pelle Nilsson è stato per me un obiettivo raggiunto e devo dire che potervelo offrire qui adesso sul podcast è davvero un'occasione incredibile. Quindi vi lascio ascoltare la bellissima intervista che siamo riusciti a fare con i due autori di Morkborg e quindi poi anche di Cyborg, ringraziandovi perché in parte se sono arrivato qui e se sono riuscito a fare quello che ho fatto, a fare questa intervista, è anche grazie a voi. Quindi non perdiamo tempo e prepariamoci per l'Apocalisse.
Use one?
Yeah, already one missing
done.
one. We were talking before that we could play a session in the waiting time, in the 9 minutes, and we have already won that. And
So anyone else can just hop in now.
yeah,
and take his
absolutely.
place.
So, welcome, benvenuti anche in live, ben arrivati, e stasera abbiamo una bella intervista con gli autori di Morkborg, Pelle Nilsson e Johan Nohr. Now we shift to English again, sorry. And now while we try to understand what happens to Ubibol, well...
Yeah.
it's
I don't see them, but I will try to.
Meanwhile, don't believe to Ubibol. He's mad.
No.
He's absolutely mad.
It's fine.
Well, in the waiting, also I have to thank you and tell that your gaming is amazing. I've actually destroyed my first copy of Morkborg because I played too much. I've carried it along the way, so I needed to buy another copy because I just rip it apart. You said burn this book. I didn't burn it, but it turned out itself for good.
That's the other way of destroying it, just evaporating it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's nice. It also
Okay,
like the yellow on the cover really
unfortunately, I don't
fades
hear
if you have it
them
out too much, if you use it
again,
too much.
but
So you
I
can
think
actually
that
tell
we could
quite easily
start
which
with
book
the
has been used and
introduction.
which
In the
hasn't
meanwhile, maybe
if you
Eric
put them next to each
could
other.
set why I don't see and I don't hear them in our
Oh,
OBS Ninja page. Okay, we
Do we
would
know
like to
anything
start with
where
one
what
thing
happened?
that we have already informed our guests. First of all, by my side, even thank you very much for being here. It's very an honor, and we are very proud to have the people that represent, I think, a milestone in the history of tabletop RPGs. One thing. Okay, sorry. Maybe I'm speaking over them. I'm sorry because I don't hear them. One moment.
okay. Sorry, Johan. What were you saying?
I was just curious if we know anything from where he went.
Well,
what happened?
there is some technical difficulty, but while he'll. Okay. Meanwhile, hello, Rhinoc 89. I'm going to play Morkborg tonight. Nice to hear that. So
good.
while Francesco tried to understand what happens, shall we begin with some question? I think the most important one. I think, if you agree. So here we are with Pelle Nilsson and Johan Nohr, and the first question I'd like to ask Pelle and Johan. Who are Pelle and Johan in the RPG and also in real life?
Profound question. Do you want
Yes.
to start? Do you want to start?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. We can hear you.
great.
It's only a problem with our co-speaker. Now I'm trying to figure out what happens.
Yeah,
No,
it's a
no
big
problem,
question.
no problem. I will
the hell are you,
recover hearing from you straight from the Twitch page. No problem. Just speak.
Yes. Pelle Nilsson is my name. I'm writing role-play games. I've done that for a long time, many years, and also other stuff. This is not my day job, so I have another job for real. So the role-playing game writing is only a hobby for me, and yeah, that's how I like it to be. About myself, I live in Stockholm with my family. Right now it's dark outside, no snow, and not very cold. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And I am Johan Nohr, and I'm a graphic designer and artist responsible for the way that Mörkborg looks. And I've been doing just like Pelle, I don't do this as a full-time job. This is just like a side thing for me. But I've been working with role-playing games in some capacity for, I don't know, maybe 15 years maybe. I don't know. I've been doing like freelance graphic design and illustration work and everything for a bunch of freely games, and then now lately more like indie games. And what else? Like I live in a town not far from Stockholm, also together with my family. You can maybe hear my daughter refusing to go to sleep upstairs. And,
We can hear her sometimes.
you can hear, yeah, exactly. So there's like 2 small kids and a dog making all kinds of noises upstairs, which is perfect for streaming. And yeah, that's me, I guess. I work as an art director and graphic designer full time on the side of this thing. So this is kind of what I do.
Okay, thank you very much. And so, Ubibol.
Okay, by my side, even if I hear you, sorry for that. I would like to say that even if our friend Gabri is not here from Sesso Droghe D&D, we leave the logo even just for show him our feelings, because he is passing not good moment, and we would like to express our feelings to him, and we hope that he will get soon, as soon as possible. And we left over here the logo just to show him how we appreciate what they did. And I think there is no more right person than him to be here with us, so we decided to leave this here. So get straight back to the question. We go straight to the masterpiece of your production, Morkborg. And where Morkborg come from and how is it born? We are all here is curious about that.
Yeah, just want to know what happens, how Morkborg was born. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can start. It started. I was at a convention up in the north part of Sweden, and we were playing role-playing games, of course. And what I lacked on that convention was a game where you were able to start playing very fast, making characters really fast. And so I started to write down some notes on some rules light system, and it started out with a paper, more or less, with the rules and some monsters and no classes in the beginning. So that's how it started, really. And then me and Johan we had done another game before together. So we decided that we wanted to make this like a small scene or something like that. And then it expanded. I did the classes some few months after that. And Johan had some connections with Free League when I started to write a bit more, and Johan started to make illustrations for the book, and we contacted them and asked if they were interested. We didn't hear from them for quite some time, if I remember correctly. I think they needed to make a decision about third party
but if
prints.
If they wanted to publish things that they haven't done at all or not, and this was like at this time, I think we realized once we started to work with it that maybe this could become an actual book and not just a scene, like you said. So we said, why not just ask Free League, because we had no idea how to make books or how to like ship books or anything like that. So it felt like a natural thing to just ask them, because they have a history of helping other Swedish indie designers previously. So we know that they could maybe help us as well. And luckily they wanted to, and we did the first Kickstarter, and it became a big success, which was very surprising, but also fun, of course. And then from that, it has just continued, basically, becoming way bigger than we could ever have imagined. I think we could say that.
I understand that it's something that
since then, like since we opened up the third-party license and all that, it just exploded even more when other people joined in to create their stuff. So, like now, it's we usually say that it's kind of like a monster that we can't control anymore. It just, it's out there. It has escaped the lab.
Yeah,
and there's no bringing it back now.
Okay.
So I suppose that you didn't expect that third parties of Morkborg that now create a really a big side of the industry of this game explode in such a way, because we have here as guests the people that spend his life creating third parts for Morkborg. So it's something that it's incredible. I've never seen in my life, in my all years of tabletop role playing, such a community like this.
Yeah. I fucking hate it. No, I'm kidding. It's really wonderful to see all the third party lives, because as we were saying, we never expected Merkbody to be as successful as it is. We thought it was going to be just like a print on demand scene at first.
Yeah.
But then once we opened up the third party license, it really exploded, and it's so amazing, I think, to see all these, creatives making cool shit for the game. And because they come at it from an angle that we could never have, because we all have different influences and different ideas and everything. So the third party community actually makes the game richer in lots of ways that Stockholm Cartel could never have done. And I think that's amazing. Like I try to buy and back every Merkborg third party thing that I can, just to keep like a library and like read it and re-explore this game in a way. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Also, it's a bit. It can be a bit difficult as well, because every time, at least when I come up with an idea for something, it's already done by someone else.
Absolutely.
So it's almost impossible to write something new.
It's The Simpsons did it, but in Merkborg.
I absolutely agree with you now that Ex Libris is live. Absolutely. I think you both know what it is. And every time I think of something for Morkborg, I try to search there, and most of the time it's already there.
Yeah. Just do another one, but better or weirder or stranger. There can't be too many of the same thing, I think.
Absolutely.
May I tell you honestly one thing? There is one big difference. Just to give a support to me to Pelle. I think that there is a very big difference between what is original creation by the creator of the Morkborg, you both, and all Stockholm Cartel people, and what the third party did. Because even the third parties did great things. Absolutely, there is a very high level of production, I admit. But what you did originally with your manual, the path that you gave to the people, it's something that it cannot be changed. And I think that 1,000 adventure or expansion or zine that are published into Drive to RPG, into any possible server, could not substitute the hype that every original manual of Morkborg produced by you could give it to anyone. And this is not just only for the adventure, but maybe even for the what I call the sons of Morkborg. Okay, so the game that could be considered like a hack of Morkborg that are not made directly by you, but the Stockholm Cartel, have not the same feels. This is my perception as user, as player, as master, no? But I tell you very honestly, just not to tell you that your things are always better. No, but it's something that you feel that they are the original ones, and they gave the path to the players. Eric, do you agree with me?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And there was a very interesting question in the chat before we wipe out, and and is from Sirix6, and there was one idea that was too much, and you choose not to put in Morkborg. That was too extreme or too maybe violent or not safe.
Try to think of any. I don't think so. Honestly, there were things that were changed, but not because we thought they were like too out there or too wild. honestly. Can you think of anything, Pelle?
No, I don't think so. I think we tried not to overthink stuff. So we did exactly what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that there are two of us, and Johan has a lot of input on the writing, and I'm not. It's not. I can't do anything about it, but sometimes I might not be politically correct, and then Johan can come in and fix that. So that's the only thing I can think of. I think I wrote a couple of things in the core book that could have been misinterpreted for something else. It wasn't in my mind, but so that was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was nothing, because we, as you said, we did what we wanted to do, and we never set out to like be provocative or cause a controversy or anything. We just did what we thought was what we wanted to have and what we thought was fun and, you know, appropriate for the vibe of the game.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think so. I know we changed the goblins from like, first they were like children being getting lost in Sarkash, and they would eventually turn into goblins, but then that was a bit too close to the dolls.
Okay.
So it wasn't like we can't do like children being harmed because we have the fucking dolls in there, but it was more of like we need to do something different. But and yeah, that was more like we changed things because we wanted it to be unique, but yeah, not because it was too extreme.
Okay, this is very interesting. And a question that I like to ask is, we know a lot now about Morkborg. Now also Cyborg is out. We also in Italy, but I think also outside Sweden, don't know much about Stockholm Cartel, and we'd like to know a bit much, because I don't know if it's been asked to you before, but it could be very interesting to know something more about this reality.
Well, about the group, Stockholm Cartel,
absolutely.
what it is. It started out. It's basically like a group of friends.
Okay.
In a way.
Yeah.
That has a name. It's not a company. It's not like a business of any kind. It's just we're like 15 people or so, and it's at first, before we were publishing games, we were running games at conventions. So we had like a drop-in OSR corner, basically, where you could come and play games with us. And then it was the first game that we put out was actually Mörkborg, or it was Barkexan, the game that you and I collaborated on before, the horror game, but that was not that was a smaller game. But it was Mörkborg, and then we have now sort of become this design studio, if you will, or whatever, and made more games. So, but yeah, we're a bunch of designers and idiots who travel around on conventions and who make game stuff sometimes. Pretty much.
This definition, believe me, it's wonderful.
That's like what we are. Yeah. And then most of us aren't even producing anything. Most of us are just playing games and having a lot of opinions about things. So,
may I ask you one thing? Well, I would like, no, it's not a question. It's just I would like to share you one thing with you. As a little bit older player, I was really bit disappointed with the actual mass games like Dungeons and Dragons and the other one, that in name of playing game for everyone, they cut from everywhere what is a reasonable balance between what is evil and what is good. Okay. When I read the first time Morkborg, I found finally that it is possible to send a manual to practically everyone, including the evil creatures. Evil, just be evil, okay? Not evil justified by something that happened in their life, okay? We are all in the same pot. everything will go to ruin because the world is going to finish. So this impressed me a lot because it was the reply of the real wish of a master from my age to let the people play what they want, in which way they want. So this is for me the real potential of this game, that this game leave the people and even the master so free that actual game with the boundaries, with the limits that they impose to you, doesn't give to the players and even the master. So for me, the real powerful of this game, and I'm proud, I'm happy to tell you right now, straight to the creators, it is what Stockholm Cartel and you both gave to the master and players of this generation. Okay, this is my personal thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
What is your feel about the presence of evil character and evil alignment, as we can say, in so normally way, in so simple way in your game? Do you feel this aspect, or is this something that is I'm just told you by a crazy Italian man that stayed in this picture?
I'm not really sure exactly what you mean, but there is certainly evil beings in the world of Mörkborg. There's a bunch of undead and demons and shit and cults, whatever. But it's a terrible world. It's like the whole setting and the concept is that everything sucks and everything is terrible, and you're playing scum basically. So you're not heroes. You're not paladins and knights in shining armor. You are dregs and the lowest of the low. And maybe this world doesn't deserve to be saved. Maybe it's a good thing that it's ending. But it's still, this world is still where you have your shit. Like you still want to try to keep it alive, even though it sucks. That's where all your stuff is. So, but that's also like the whole ending of the world thing. It's I don't know. It's a thing with the inevitability of it. Like you can't save the world. It's doomed to begin with. So you just have to deal with that. And yeah, it's just like our world.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is amazing.
Mr. Nilsson, I'm interested to your reply.
Yeah, I agree with Johan, and it was very important especially when I did the setting for the world, because I have problems to read manuals about settings and years and stuff like that, like 100 pages of setting. It's hard for me to read that much, so it was important for me to make it short, but also leave it open for everyone that reads the book to come up with new questions, answer questions that are not answered in the setting book themselves, to let the imagination go wild, so to speak. That was very important, and that's also the case regarding the rules. It's important that you have, the basic core rules doesn't. So in lots of situations, you have to come up with some rules yourself and fix that as a game master, and that was very important as well. Also important to not go, complete dark. It was very important to include humor in the book as well. That was very important. So it shouldn't be some nihilistic kind of feeling. It's supposed to be a bit fun as well. And I guess that might have been what appealed to a lot of people as well, that it's not complete dark.
Yeah. There's a lot of humor, a lot of gallows humor in it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
As a man born in 1982, when I see Morkborg, the first things that come up in my mind is just Hash Williams with a chainsaw on their hand. So at the end, no, I think there are a lot of games, including this topic, but I think that who comes from 80s feels in this way. But I could underline one sentence that Pelle told: let your imagination go wild. I would like to underline this sentence because it's, I think, the rule number one for every people that approach the TTRPGs, including Morkborg, but even the other ones. It's very important, I think.
Absolutely. Do whatever you want and make the game yours. Like don't try to find the answers in the rule book or in like from us. Like we don't have the answer, you do at the table. It's your game.
Yeah, that's
I underline even this.
Yes, I agree with that. It's amazing. And we have two very interesting questions. Actually, it's quite the same questions. So from the Hat Cat Live and also from Sergio Paz, if you can read it or if you want to, I read it aloud. So
yeah,
I'll also,
you can read it. You can read the Hat Cat
I'll read the Hat Cat Live because it's almost the same. The Sergio Paz was, what is your initial inspiration for Morkborg? And the other is, I know the games thanks to Ubibol and Eric, super newbie to RPG. Never heard of it before, but intrigued me. Which are your main sources of inspirations to build your themes and aesthetics for the game, outside specific RPG stuff, like such as movies, music, literature, etc.?
You want to go, or should I?
You can start first, Johan, if you want. This time.
I think inspiration-wise, it was a lot of musical inspiration. So Morkborg is extremely musical as a project. So we have the track list or the list of bands that helped us and everything. And so I think just that whole world of musical influences is important. Listening to music, but also like album covers, gig posters, everything like that. Aesthetically, I think like punk scenes and comic book art, creepypasta, that sort of stuff. And yeah, and I think
fantastic.
I don't know. There's a lot of movies as well that doesn't really have. So, for example, one of my the movie that I most I think resembles the tone is what's it called? The Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
It's super funny, it's super grim, and it has sort of the right vibe. And also Mandy, the movie with Nicolas Cage in it.
Yeah.
The one from Panos Cosmatos. Right?
Yes, exactly. It's spot on the vibe. I mean, it's the wrong sort of setting. It has like motorcycles and chainsaws, but if you change that to like horses and Zweihander swords, that's perfect, I think. And yeah, that sort of wild aesthetic is also my inspiration.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it's also those movies and a couple of others, but primarily it's music for me. More than other RPGs, actually. Of course, I'm inspired by the old school Renaissance games and how Dungeons and Dragons was back in the 70s and early 80s also. That was very important. But music is most important for me. When I'm writing, I always listen to music, and yeah, it's various kinds of music, but mostly it's doom metal and black metal for me. Some old black metal, mostly from Norway.
Okay, so from your neighborhood.
I love this
sure.
I love your inspiration from both of you, so it's okay for me.
I should also mention that I take a lot of inspiration from the nature as well. From when I'm out walking in the woods without any music or other stuff going on around me. That's also very inspirational for me.
Yeah.
But the best ideas come when you least expect it, like when you take a shower.
Yeah.
Or on the way in the subway on your way to the work. Then you have the brilliant ideas come up.
Always when you can't note it down, when you can't write it down. That's when you get the best
absolutely.
I in Italy, we are usual to say that the best ideas come when you are sitting on the VC.
Yeah, exactly.
For my part, the worst or best ideas for Morkborg comes when I'm stuck in the traffic. So I'm very angry, and I use it. So for me, works that.
Yeah,
that's very good. Yeah. I think it's also like the dull gray landscape that we have here up in Sweden, where like in the wintertime the sun actually never rises. So that's very inspirational for this kind of setting.
Absolutely.
I think that is very great inspirational point. I'm sure about it. I'm sure. Okay, let's go further with some point just to analyze. We there is a question that comes even in the weeks, even into Instagram. It is, what will be the future of Morkborg in terms of publication of original parties, and what you feel about the sounds of Morkborg? So Cyborg, any other production from Stockholm Cartel. So how you see the future for all your production?
It's kind of hard to say because we can't really say anything before we want to announce it, but we can say that we're working on stuff at least. Like we are writing and designing and having a lot of ideas, both for Morkborg and for Cyborg. And I think the Death in Space guys are also like working hard on the next release for that game. So like it's a constant production and ideation going on, but it's a little too soon to speak specifics, I think. But,
okay.
Yeah. But I mean, we did the Territory and the Heretic scenes, those extra books for Morkborg.
Yeah.
And it would feel a bit boring to make a third scene. So we need to surprise ourselves somehow.
Yeah.
Regarding Morkborg, we might have other things going on as well.
So I think
we'll
that
see.
Just to reply to anyone, we have a perfect case of a 20 on inspiration on our dice by Mr. Johan Nohr and Mr. Pelle Nilsson to avoid any possible spoiler to make to anyone. So very congratulations for this. You just gave another lesson to all the player online. So thank you very much for this. Anyway, you spoke about the Death in Space, and we are happy also to say that here I think we have played all possible game from Stockholm Cartel. So anything you just publish will be brought in our channel to play. Everything, I think.
Absolutely. Also, Ubibol is also me also a huge fan of Orkborg. We had the pleasure to speak with Grant Howitt and
Grant,
live here before. And so we hope we can talk to Carl Druid, but it's quite difficult to reach.
We have a direct line. We can ask him.
Okay. Well, maybe when we are offline, we will ask you too. And we hope also we will have Christian Zalen here because it will be very, very nice and all the other people from Stockholm Cartel. And something we would like to ask you is what do you think of the current tabletop RPG market or community, and some recent issues, if you'd like to talk about it in general.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening now.
Yeah.
With
That's why we ask.
Yes.
with a certain company. I
Someone
think what
in
you
chat is writing OGL.
it's the OGL, yeah. I don't think. I mean, we're not affected by it at all because we don't write under the OGL.
Absolutely.
And I think, I don't know. Maybe it's good to shake things up a bit and maybe not have one big company to rule them all. If something is gonna happen, like, I don't know, I have no idea, and I don't want to. I don't really have a comment. I'm very happy with the third-party license that we have, and we don't try to, we don't take a cut of anything. We don't try to claim ownership of any third-party publication.
Yeah.
So.
To be clear,
we will only change it a little bit and take 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
in the next license.
Okay.
But,
Well, obviously now people are talking about the OGL, but yes, it's a huge topic now. Huge topic. But also, if you had something else to add about the community, the games, the stuff that it's coming out now, a big OSR movement now, as I think it's started. So, what do you think about it?
It's a lot of cool stuff coming. Like, every time we go to a convention, you always find new games. And I think especially like games, I really appreciate games that try to move away from the nostalgic part of OSR and like explore new ways of doing stuff. Maybe inspired by the old things, but trying out new concepts. So maybe what people call the NSR, the New School Revolution.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
I'm not a big fan of all the labels and shit. Like, I don't really care what you call it, but at least like rules light games that focuses on creativity and thinking outside the box, I think is fun. And yeah, no, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff coming. A lot of Kickstarters. Way too many.
Way too many.
To
Way
keep
too
up
many.
with.
yeah.
Cool. Thank you. And Pelle, do you agree?
Yes, I agree. And I can only add that. Yeah, I think, like Johan said, there will be lots of good stuff coming out of this as well, of course. So yeah,
cool.
Not much more to add. We are very happy from the Mark Borg side that we are outside everything.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
May I ask you one thing, just to be curious? But when Mr. Johan Nohr, Mr. Pelle Nilsson do not play to Morkborg, what kind of game do you like to play?
Oh, nice.
What do you say, Pelle?
Yeah, I'm playing lots of games from Free League actually. I play OSR games as well, like old school essentials and games like that. But also games from Free League. Like I said, I played The One Ring with my kids, for example, and Mutant Year Zero, and the older versions of Mutant as well. So lots of. I really like the rules light games as well. That's when you have like free abilities and not much more, and some equipment. I really like those kinds of games as well. So you have to improvise a lot and make up your own rules. So yeah.
I've played recently also with my family because I live in a smaller city and I don't have any friends here, so I have to play with my family. And my son who is 4, I just introduced him to Mouse Ritter.
And it's perfect.
Yeah, it's really good. So we played 2 sessions so far for like 45 minutes each, and it's nice. It's a very good, like regardless if you're playing with kids or with adults, it's a very good OSR game, very clever rules and very nice like setting. Lots of ideas to steal from it, and so we played that. And I'm also trying to like explore more solo games, trying that, which is an interesting phenomenon. I think that you can just sit and play by yourself for an hour or so. So
yeah.
I hope to see more of those.
Speaking of which, now as I just received the material from the Kickstarter of a product very popular in your country, which is in English it's Dragonbane. I'm not trying to pronounce it in Swedish because I will murder it, and and I don't want to do it. And
Drakar och demoner.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so it was amazing that there was also your part of the solo part, and this is really incredible. I can't wait to try it by myself.
I actually haven't seen it yet, the game. Have you, Pelle? Have you seen the Dragonbane?
Yeah, I think we lost some sound from Eric. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Did we?
Yeah,
Did
or
you-
maybe it was some delay.
maybe.
I've seen the game, and I've been a bit involved in the game, and they told me that the structure in the adventures are very inspired by the introduction adventure in Mörkborg, so that was really nice to hear. And I have also done one adventure for the box set that is coming next summer. So I wrote an adventure for that.
I know.
Yeah, and I got some feedback on that, and I'm working. There are always other projects coming in between Mörkborg and me, at least. So I want to do lots of stuff for Mörkborg, but there's always some other project going on. So
Same for me.
But I think it will be a great game. I think it's a bit like Dungeons and Dragons, and a bit like the other Freely games, and also very inspired by how this game was back in the 80s when all the grognards like me were playing it in the early 80s.
Yeah.
So it will be a great game.
I would like to admit one thing, and because I have you both here, I reveal this secret. I played for many years with my wife a longer campaign in Dungeons and Dragons, the 5th edition. No, we played in the dungeon under Waterdeep. Okay, the dungeon of the Full Magician. No, and when I discovered Mörkborg for the first time, I said, "Oh wow, what could happen if I do this with Mörkborg? It will be probably 1,000 times more lethal in each level." So this is the dream of my life, and I promise that now that I have you here and I hear what is from your voice, I think that I will do just for try the potential of this game. And the last question that I have for you is connected with this. Do you have the sensation, the feeling that Mörkborg itself unblock something into the world of a tabletop RPGs? It's like breaking a dam. Okay, do you have this sensation, this feeling?
I think we've heard people say similar things, that at least both when they're playing games and also when they're making games, that they feel like it's okay to break rules and it's okay to like not follow a certain guidelines or whatever. Like you can think more freely. I'm not sure if that's unique to Mörkborg or if it's about like rules light systems in general, but we've heard a lot of stories about that, which is nice. And I think it's because it's so vague and it's mostly based on like vibes and rulings. It kind of encourages people to play outside of the rule set in a way and make up new rules, which I think is good. And you can apply that to other games too. Like you can take that into 5e if you play that. You realize that whatever it says in the book, I don't have to care about that. I can make it up while we're playing. So I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I agree with that. And it's also very easy to play other kind of adventures that are not based on Mörkborg, to convert it into Mörkborg, because the rules are so easy. So you can play with whatever you want with Mörkborg and do whatever you want, so to speak. Yeah, so it's a big question.
One thing it's important that I think Mörkborg makes people to understand that your character can die and it's not a big deal. It was something in the old school games, and Mörkborg make it fun again. So people now is now playing Mörkborg, saying, "Let's see how many times we will die," and it's been again acceptable.
And I think it's fun because that allows you to try different things. Like you're not scared of character death, so you can try to push the button or pull the lever or attack the strange monster. If you die, you just roll up a new character. Whereas in other games where you're more precious about your character, you would avoid those sort of things and thus avoid fun moments in the game. So
absolutely,
yeah, you have to avoid combat and come up with other kinds of solutions. And I think that's the soul of how it was 40 years ago as well.
Yeah,
and I've heard and seen a lot of it's very easy to die in Mörkborg, and you start out with 1 or 2 hit points and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the magic user in the first versions of Dungeons and Dragons had a die 4 to start with, die 4 hit points.
Yeah.
And a fighter could start with 1 hit point if he had bad luck on the die roll. So there was lots of death.
Those are the characters that last longest, usually. The ones with 1 HP, because they're careful and they play smart. So
absolutely,
having high hit points is actually a curse for survivability, because you get hubris and you think, "Oh, I'm good," and then you die.
And then you get a very big hit and you're dead.
If you have 1 hit point, you stay away from combat. You try to think cleverly instead. So that's the key.
Just to confirm this position, I would like to tell that you unblock one thing for sure. The people in the recent, I think 10 years, 15 years, coming from the new millennium, there's a sort of idea that the player is something untouchable, okay? And that is something that you need to avoid in any way, and you just cultivate like your character like it was a Pokemon, you just cure him, you just give a care, but at the end we are speaking about adventure into dungeons with a terrible creature, and that in any site. So what you unblock it is your character gonna die maybe in 1 minute, maybe in 1 hour, maybe in 1 session. So don't feel so close to him, because that is next to you. So this is something that is, even if it comes from the past, as Pelle said, your approach in this game is absolutely unique at this time, in this period of time, in this actual scenario of tabletop RPGs. So this is, I think, is the one of the topic of that make Morkborg something unique in this panorama, okay, in this view of tabletop. And moreover, just to conclude, I would like to say to Johan that anyone see the cover and the style of illustration of Morkborg say, "Oh my God!" Because it's you unblocked really a way to illustrate the manuals that is completely different. Because at the end, it's very linked to the past till arrival of Morkborg, and I could say honestly, with the arrival of the illustration of the Free Legion manuals. But your one is just a boost, okay? It's like NOS into an engine, okay? You just push something that each one says, see this, tell, oh my God, I've never seen things like this.
That's nice, thanks. Yeah, we wanted to shake things up as well, and make something that had never been done before. Like that was actually one of the goals, to like make a book that would stand out in the shelves, because I was like scanning my shelf, looking at it and seeing all the spines of the books, and like there was no neon yellow screaming at you in that shelf. So it's kind of like we made a book that is impossible to hide, which is a very small but very, very loud book. And I think
yellow in the manual, incredible.
Yeah,
yellow
exactly.
in the manual, incredible.
And it's I don't know. I think it might have inspired people to be a bit more experimental in their graphic design, for better or worse. I mean, maybe sometimes you need to stay within the lines and follow some rules, but it's a good as an exercise to try as a creative to break the rules sometimes, just to let loose. So I'm happy to see that people are like accepting that and trying out new things.
Okay, perfect. I love the yellow of Morkborg. I'm obsessed with the yellow of Morkborg. I have a final question, and I'll ask it with a quote that I think not many Italian can get it. It's not every toilet needs a dungeon. I actually love it. If you can say a few words about Cartelian Clamor, your podcast, and also explain this quote for everybody who doesn't know.
It was a misquote.
I know.
The idea, we talked about what you need to have in a dungeon. Like when you're writing a dungeon, like does it have to be a logical place, or can you go more into like the mythical underworld thing? Does every dungeon need to have like facilities? Does it have to have a toilet and a kitchen? No, it doesn't have to do that. Just do what's fun. And then Christian, I think it was, who said that does every toilet need to have a dungeon? And it kind of has to, because there has to be a subterranean level in the toilet.
Now I want a toilet with a dungeon.
Yeah, but that's we have a podcast called Cartelian Clamor that you can look for in wherever you find podcasts, and it hasn't been updated since Dragon Meet, so it's a few months late. We're planning an episode very, very soon, but we talk about games and games related things in it. It's kind of chaotic at times, but it has some gold nuggets in it, I think.
Someone come from Dead in Space to tell you to stop.
that was Siri's eavesdropping on me.
Oh, absolutely.
If everybody agrees, I would like to, I think that it's time for the conclusion, because the time of our talk is going to conclusion.
Absolutely.
But let me tell you one final things to you both. After this talk, that I hope that it can be replied even in the future when you will have more content created by you, as a testify that we are really interested, and not just in your actual game, but in your creative creation processing. Okay, I would like to tell you that after this talk that we have, I think that I will be satisfied of my future role-playing style, writing and mastering and playing, if I have a 10% of the agree that you have in the creation process for you both, and I think for all Stockholm Cartel, because it's not easy creation process. It's something that it's hard even for one person, and you are not one person. You are a group of friends, group of people that create something that break absolutely the market, break the world of tabletop RPGs. Just all together, maybe in front of a beer, maybe listening some music or working all around. So if I do these things for 10%, 10% no more, I will be happy for the rest of my life.
Wow, that's high praise.
Yes.
I'll be buying whatever you put out, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I'll judge you.
So we will do next talk when we have a very long white beard and we have 80 years old or something like that.
Let's pen it in. Yeah.
So we will look forward for your next project. I'm actually very intrigued about what we will be, and I want to thank you again, absolutely, also from our friend Admin T that cannot be together with us, and also we will thank everybody who came here today to listen us. And if you want to say something, then we will go and concluding this amazing chat.
Do you want to say something, Pelle? What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, it was great to be here. It was really nice. And yeah, I love to interact with other people as well in the chat. That's not too often we have done that, actually. So that's great as well.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Quindi I'll tell something in Italian. Ragazzi, se volete chiedere ancora qualcosa a Pelle e Johan, è il momento. Something I've written, Beerborg. I don't know what does it mean. I don't know if they refer to the brand of beer that is connected to Morkborg or no.
Maybe that's. I still haven't tried that beer that we made.
I'd like to try it.
Me neither.
I'm very curious.
I would love to try it as well.
It does not exist, but if one day I will exist, I promise I will drink with this.
It does exist.
Ubibol.
Yeah.
It does exist. I
Absolutely.
will drink with that for sure.
Yeah.
It will be the greatest drunk in my life.
No, but apart from that, yeah, I agree. Oh, sorry, I agree. It's very fun to be here, and you can, if you want to find us, you can find us on pretty much any social media channel. Unfortunately, and we also have a mailing list that we should promote it more, but that's where you can get to hear from what we're up to, and join our Discord if you haven't. It's a nice place.
Absolutely. It's a very amazing place, and also an horrible place with horrible ideas in a good very way. So you have to join it.
Yeah.
We are pushing all the things that come from Stockholm Cartel and Morkborg. That someone says, "Do you work with them?" It's a dream of my life, but never happened.
Oh, stop it.
So I don't see any other questions, so I think that we can say thank you again to Johan and Pelle for being here, and hope to have you again here, and maybe one day meet you in person. It will be amazing. I don't know if you ever been in Italy. I hope I can make to Sweden soon.
Yeah. I'll let you guys know if we ever go to Italy. I've been there once before, and
I've been there 3 times.
Yeah, really.
Yes.
You have
Maybe.
3 times. Oh, that's
Yes.
cool.
Perfect.
Next time in my house.
Yes.
Absolutely. You're welcome whenever you want.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So, it's time to close. Ringrazio tutti quanti quelli che sono venuti in chat stasera e andiamo in chiusura. Thank you again to Johan Nohr Pelle, and thank you everybody who came here this evening. Bye
Thank you
bye.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.